Thank you everybody for showing. This was originally scheduled yesterday at 10 a.m. As you can see from behind me, I am in the New City Library. My first week back, we have a small staff in preparing to do curbside pickup starting Monday. But today we're going to talk about the virtual library borrowing ebooks. And there are two main services that we use to do that. One of them is called Overdrive, and the other one is called Hoopla. So those are the two services that I'm going to talk about today. But to get started, I will share my screen with you guys. I don't know if that's going to affect us at all, but you start at newcitylibrary.org, and under e-library, this first link here, ebooks, audiobooks, and streaming media, this will give you the links to both Overdrive and Hoopla. And you'll see here a link to Overdrive and one to Hoopla. We're going to cover Overdrive first. Overdrive is best for your newer materials. Overdrive is a service where we can actually purchase ebooks. Other libraries in our library system purchase ebooks, and the library system purchases ebooks, and they all go into this Overdrive service. So it, more in a sense, it replicates the same situation we have with regular books in the library. Hoopla is a little bit different, but first let's talk about Overdrive. And I already have it up here, but the link is rcls.overdrive.com. You'll see this additional content if you use the link from our website, and that is showing you content available to New City Library cardholders. I'm actually signed in, so I'm going to sign out of this. Let me just go from the start, rcls.overdrive.com. And in the right here, it'll say sign in, and you sign in with your library card number and your PIN number. Now, your PIN number is usually the last 4 digits of your phone number. You see this other thing, sign in using your mobile number. I don't recommend doing that because that will create an alternative account for you. And it also won't give you access, priority access on materials. But if that has happened to you, you can contact us at the library, and we can merge those two accounts. That happens from time to time. So you always want to log in first, because when you log in, it gives you access to specific materials for New City Library patrons that we've purchased. It gives you priority to those. Now, if you're a card holder at any other library in Rockland, that's fine. Your library buys stuff and you get priority on those materials. Kind of similar to the way new books work. Now, you can browse books here. You can scroll down and browse. Another thing to point out here is both of the services we're showing you today, Overdrive and Hoopla, both have apps. So if you want to read on your phone or on an iPad, you can use Overdrive. It's called Libby. So if you don't have the app, you can download the app, and then it works in concert with this website. So if you borrowed a book on your computer, but then you decided to go read it on your phone, the same book, the same material would be there. It's based on your login with your library card. So as you scroll down, you'll see different collections, items just added, book club suggestions. And then here's another service, skip the line. And what this is similar to the express books that we have in the library, the 7-day books. Because Overdrive in many ways works very similarly to library books in the library, in that in most cases only one person can read the copy of the book. So American Dirt right now is probably the most popular fiction book. In fact, it is the most popular fiction ebook. And so normally you would have to place a hold to read this book. But right now, you can borrow the book as a 7-day book here in this Skip the Line collection. And these are available to all library users equally, no matter what your library is. You can also browse collections here. Because you have to place holds on items that are out, if you just want to see what is available now, you can do that with ebooks, or you can do that with audiobooks. There's also digital audiobooks available here. And you can tell the difference between an ebook and an audiobook because you see this has the little headphones here. Same with these two books here and this one, and quite a few. Another thing, let's just go through the process here of borrowing a book. And I'm going to go back and look at things that are available now. Again, if you have questions, put them in the chat at the bottom or the Q&A. Where the Crawdads Sing, that's a pretty popular one. It's available now. I'm going to borrow that. And the lending period for ebooks in Overdrive is 14 days. You can also change it to 7 days, but 14 days is the default. So I hit borrow. And now if I hit go to loans, I will see the books. Now, there are two options, two main options, I should say, for reading. One is if you have a Kindle. So if you have a Kindle, you can click Read Now with Kindle. And it will send you to Amazon. This is a little confusing when work with libraries. So we were happy that they would work with us, but they were very shrewd in how they did it. So you have to know your login. So I'm already logged in. And the thing is, you may have multiple devices. So your Kindle has to be registered to the account, the Amazon account that you're logged in with. Now, if you bought your Kindle, then there's a good chance that it's registered to your account. If you didn't buy your Kindle, then and someone gave it to you, then you'll have to register that Kindle with your Amazon account or find out the login of the person who gave it to you. But we can work that. Again, if you have trouble, you can contact us afterwards and we can help you. So you could send it to an iPad where you might have the Kindle app. You could send it to your Amazon Fire or your Kindle. You just have to know which is the right one to send it to. And then you do Get Library Book. And it will send the book to your Kindle through the internet. So your Kindle has to then be connected to the internet. So you have to make sure that you can see that. Another thing that you might want to know about is manage your content and devices. So this manage your content and devices function through Amazon. Now this is for your Kindle users only. If you don't have a Kindle, you can get up and get a drink and relax for a sec. But if you have a Kindle, you want to pay attention to this, because through the manage your content and devices, what you can do is you'll see books that you may have purchased. I've purchased these 2 books at the bottom, but these other 2 are books that I've borrowed. Now, if they expire, they may still kind of sit on your Kindle in a kind of a shadowy way. But what you can do is you can return the book early. This gives you an option to return the book, or you can simply delete the item. So if I delete the item, then it will go away. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to return Where the Crawdads Sing early, because I don't really want to read that. And then that allows the next person to go ahead and read it. So content, this is where you can see your Amazon content. You can return books earlier here if you're borrowing through a Kindle. I think if I refresh, this might go away, or it may already be gone. I don't want to break it. Okay. Now, for everyone else, if you have an iPad that you want to read on or a Samsung tablet, you can download the Libby app, and any content you see here will appear in your Libby app. So some people may be more comfortable searching on computer. I found myself there, Where the Crawdads Sing. I found myself reading just in the browser of my computer more often, because it's a bigger screen since we've been locked away here for a while. And let me show you some of the different options that you have. Okay, so what it is saying to me here is it noticed that I was reading on another device this book. Would it like me to go to that page? And I'm going to say yes. So I think I was reading on a different computer. So some of the different options you can have when you're reading, though, are you can go to a specific chapter, and that's all through these 3 lines here up on the right. You can choose chapters. You can search within the book. So I was reading a book last week, and I said, hey, did you know that in this book, so-and-so went to this school? And so I went to the ebook, I searched for the name of the school, and I was able to find the part of the book exactly where it was. You can also adjust your reading settings. So there's different fonts. You can make the fonts bigger. So if you're visually impaired, like myself, sepia, dark, that's a little strange. But you can change your font as well. Some of these different fonts may work better for you. The other thing that I often use is if you click in the kind of center middle, not all the way at the bottom, but a little further up, it tells you how far you are into the book. And if you click on where it says 44% here, it takes a sec. But you can change it from percentage to tell you how many pages are left in a chapter or how many pages are left. in the book. Looks like it's counting my pages right now. So 193 of 48, 67 pages left in the chapter. So that is kind of some of the reading functions just in a browser. So this, I'm just on a Chromebook in the Chrome browser. Now, the other thing I want to point out here is, I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but you can borrow 8 items at a time. Now, you only get 14 days to read it. And unlike a print book, this book here expires in 20 hours. Now, within 3 days of a due date with a book, if you log in and look at your holds or your loans under My Account, you will see a little link here within 3 days. If no one else wants it, you'll see an option to renew it. In this case, someone else wants this book, so the only option I have is to request it again. So while Overdrive mirrors another day and pay the fine, you have to bring that book back. It will disappear from my account in 20 hours, so I better get reading on that one. And then you have, I have my other books here as well. So those are some different things from Overdrive. Let's just see what else I may have missed. Overdrive also has magazines. Now, the magazines will not work with the Kindle. You have to read the magazines on your, either on your computer, or if you have an iPad or a Samsung tablet, anything that can download the Libby app, you can read magazines in that app. The selection is somewhat limited, although I've been in discussions with some people at the Central Library, and I believe it's July 1st. I could be wrong on that, but soon they will be adding a few different titles, and among the new titles they're going to get are The Economist. Hopefully that does well. So we also have magazines. If you have any questions about Overdrive, put them in the Q&A or the chat. I think that, there's one more thing I wanted to show you. And it's actually at the very bottom of the Overdrive window, and it's under support. There's help. So help allows you to search for different topics, but if you hit get support and then contact support, basically you can submit a question directly to Overdrive and they'll get back to you. Now you can always contact us at the library, but sometimes if things become really confusing, we'll use this get support. So you scroll down to your library, in this case, New City. It asks for your information, and then you can type in and you can get support. So that's another option if you're having trouble. So that is Overdrive. That's pretty much all I wanted to cover on that. Other questions sometimes come up, but you can borrow 8 items at a time. If you return an item, you can check another item out. You have your collections that you can browse through, or you can simply do a search. Actually, one other thing, let me do a search and show you one other thing that I think is interesting through Overdrive. Now, Gordon Wood is kind of a somewhat esoteric / mainstream author. I really love the book Revolutionary Characters, but if you scroll down, you'll see there are other books here, 2 of which I have recommended, 2 of which just say not owned. You can recommend that the library system purchase books. Now, this doesn't necessarily guarantee that the library will purchase it, but I will tell you that since we've been in pandemic mode, we've been looking at this list every single week at New City, and we've been trying to buy what we can. We can't buy everything, but we've been trying to buy as much as possible. And that kind of leads into the next service that I wanted to talk about, and that is Hoopla. Because sometimes what we find when we look at our list of recommendations is we will often find that while the book is not on Overdrive, someone is recommending it for purchase, we find it on Hoopla. So under e-library again, ebooks, e-audiobooks, and streaming media, we have Hoopla. And it's just hoopladigital.com. Takes us here. Now, this is what it would take you to if you went directly to Hoopla Digital. And if you have not used Hoopla yet, even if you're not a New City card holder, I think every library, except for maybe 1 or 2. Last time I checked, Blauvelt didn't have it, but Sloatsburg didn't have it either, but I think Sloatsburg was looking into it. So almost every library in Rockland has this. So everything will hold true. But with Hoopla, you have to create an account. So you say, get started, you type in your email twice, you pick a password that's at least 8 characters long, you hit agree, and then you will be prompted to attach your library to your account. Now, in New City, we're allowing people to borrow 10 items per calendar month. So that's one way that Hoopla works differently than Overdrive. Overdrive, you can always have 8 items out. In Hoopla, you can borrow 10 items, but per month. So once you've borrowed those 10 items, you're done. You can't borrow more items. And you always have to remember your password with these things. But if you forget it, you can reset it. The other thing about Hoopla is much more than just books and ebooks. It also has films, it has graphic novels, it has television shows, it has a lot of children's materials, although Overdrive has children's materials as well. But one of the real strengths, I believe, of Hoopla is the audiobooks. Hoopla is a product of a company called Midwest Tapes, and they originally started selling libraries books on tape. So they have rights, I believe, to a lot of audiobooks. The other thing about Hoopla is you'll find the collection is much deeper in many ways than Overdrive. So Hoopla may not have the most recent books, but they might have the full catalog of older John Grisham or James Patterson, just as an example. But sometimes you find newer things, like this is a popular YA fiction that was just released last week or the week before, and they have it right away as an audiobook. The other thing is we cannot buy books for Hoopla. We're given what we're given. So in Overdrive, you can recommend. Maybe we'll buy it. Hoopla, we're given what we're given, and they add new materials there, but we can't determine that we want to purchase an item for Hoopla. So it's a little bit different in that sense as well. Audiobooks go for 21 days, as well as ebooks. You can check it out again after those 21 days, as long as you have more borrows left in your calendar month. So if you go to My Hoopla, you can see all of the items that you have borrowed. And my kids love this Pete the Cat and Curious George. They have read-along books for kids so that you can actually see the book being read to you. I don't know if we play one of those here to see how it goes. But you'll see that I have 4 more titles to borrow this month. So once that's up, that's it. You also have movies here. You see the movie Frida, Good Will Hunting. It's like it's bringing up my audiobook here slowly. Again, this is really just good for kids, but it plays the book.
Curious George cleans up.
So that's enough of Curious George. But great materials there. Let's see. So these are all the different options: audiobooks, movies, music, a deep music catalog as well. So if you want to listen to an album like the old days, you can see, you can download a whole album of material here. As far as the ebooks go, Hoopla has its own app. So just like Overdrive has Libby, Hoopla's app is just called. So you can read an ebook on your computer if you don't have an iPad, or you could read it on an iPad or anything that has the App Store, like a Samsung tablet or any tablet that has like the Google Play Store. But with a Kindle, Hoopla doesn't play nice with Kindle. So you'd have to read the book directly on your computer if you're used to reading on a Kindle. So that's kind of a downside to Hoopla. But again, anything that is here, I can check out. So I can check out any of these books as long as I have borrows left. There's no placing holds or waiting like there is in Overdrive. So that's really the big advantage with Hoopla. So I don't know if there are any questions, but we're looking forward to seeing everybody again. Again, curbside is going to start Monday at 9 a.m. But until then, if you don't want to come out, or if you're enjoying, what is the Hoopla app? Hoopla is just an app that allows you to borrow ebooks, digital audiobooks, but also music, movies, and more. So the 2 services we talked about were Overdrive, and the Overdrive app is called Libby. Hoopla is a service that you can use through your computer, but you can also download the app for Hoopla. And
the app is just called Hoopla.
And it's just called Hoopla. So I don't know if you had any other questions about that specific app. But Hoopla, for those audiobook listeners, I always tell people who call in and ask about audiobooks through Overdrive that they have to they have to look at Hoopla too, because it really has a tremendous collection of digital audiobooks for folks to look at.
And I'll just add a lot of the
Any
classics.
other questions?
And a lot of the classics are on Hoopla too in ebook form, and a lot of the time in audiobook form too. If you want something a little bit older, a lot of time it's on there.
Tree Grows in Brooklyn.
Yep.
But even some of the newer stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I've been surprised to find digital audiobooks there in Hoopla as well.
And the music selection is also pretty good. Not everything, but certainly a lot. And they're pretty. They might not get it an album day and date when it comes out, but a lot of times, not long after it's out, it's up on there.
Thanks everybody for attending, especially those of you who tried to log in yesterday.